So I've updated the video evidence for Fargate on bin day. I'd really like to thank Miss Avisham for this, for providing the photos. I've put a hashtag in the description so you can follow her channel. She does things more from a historical point of view. She's got a good channel anyway, so let's show you the video of Fargate on the Sunday morning. It looks way too tidy, and then I'll show you the evidence on the bin collection day. So I came in early Sunday morning to do this. It's much easier to film when there's not people around. Miss Avisham asked me to do it. So these were once offices, they're now flats. And there seems to be an issue here. We can only assume the wheelie bins that appear here every week for bin collection day are coming out of these flats somehow. We don't know how. But you can see the name for it just here. It's called Chapel House Apartments. So I did try and talk to somebody coming out of the doorway, but I might as well have banged my head against a brick wall. So you're supposed to speak in English, but you might as well have not been speaking English because the other person didn't understand a word I was saying. So it's a massive issue every week. There's bins all over the place. They can't be coming from down the side because there's nowhere to store them down the side. And they stink like anything, Miss Avisham says. So we can only assume they're coming out of these flats, but where are they storing them in the flats? Surely they're not bringing them through this doorway and up a lift and everything. So you can see 3 underground bins right in front of it. So hopefully in the end, whoever's bringing these wheelie bins out and wherever they're coming from, they'll actually have a card to actually use these underground bins. But how long these underground bins function for is another thing. So you've seen a relatively clean and peaceful Fargate on a Sunday morning, but it didn't feel that peaceful, to tell you the truth. I had a couple of people sat on my shoulder, homeless people, stuffing their faces with food. Now, when I left HSBC in 2000, I had a lot of sympathy for the homeless, and that situation's changed. I don't believe many of them are actually homeless. They're just coming out and begging nowadays. So let's have a look at the evidence. This was actually on the Greater Green area. Don't know what he was doing on there. So now you can start to see the bins on Fargate on bin day. Just imagine if this was a busy Sheffield like it used to be on a Friday. It'd be absolutely packed on Fargate on a Friday. And now these are stuck in the middle of Fargate. But Miss Avisham said she could stink them coming up Chapel Walk. That actually hit her before she saw them. But just imagine this situation will get worse as they put more and more residential in Sheffield. These are the underground bins. There's only 4 lots of 3 to replace all these bins. And I don't know how they're going to cope with the volume, to tell you the truth. I don't know what the size is under the ground, because I've seen 2 different types of underground bins. If it's like the ones in Birmingham, there's hardly anything underneath. If it's like proper Dutch bins, they do go a long way into the ground. But I can imagine them being temperamental as well. But the problem is there's no equipment to actually lift them out at the moment. So we're right outside Chapel House now, and you can see the bins there. Well, before they used to be right in front of the Boots window. So me and Miss Avisham think they've got to be something to do with Chapel House. If they're not, can somebody confirm that? If they are, can anybody tell us where they're actually being stored in Chapel House? Because we don't know how they could get them out of there. So I had a further walk around Sheffield. We're now on Bank Street, outside the Old Cairo Jack's nightclub, now the job centre. This is coming from transient people living in bedsitters, etc., along Bank Street and Queen Street. So these will be immigrant type labour, probably students, etc. We don't know who these people are, and it'll just get worse, this situation. Further down Bank Street towards Queen Street, this is stuck in the middle of the road on a Sunday. Or the path, I mean, not the road. And then a bit further down onto Bank Street. Now, here we are on Castlegate. This is outside the Alexandra pub. Now, this was actually there when they were having the pollen market on Sunday, but I didn't put it in the actual video. Not the same litter, but the same volume of litter, just stuffed outside these apartments. So here we are on King Street. This is the alleyway, and it sort of goes in one direction and then the other, like an L shape, up to a load more bins. Because the problem is Castle House offices are now flats. They're all over the place, these flats. It's only going to get worse. Remember the flats built in the 1950s? They were actually well designed. They were built with lots of green space surrounding them, and they became slums. It's just a matter of time before Sheffield city centre gets down to this level, you know, like we saw with the 1950s flats, but even worse. So I don't like to bring bad news. I want to bring you good news, but this is how the situation's unfolding. It's over to you folks to do something, you know, like shout out to your councillors, etc., or to the leader of the council or the chief executive. So over and out from Sheffield.